Alright guys, so making the Crossbones armor, I do have the back piece made. I don't know if you can see this. Back piece made here. Hey guys, so I'm creating the Crossbones back piece of the armor, and I have most of it pre-set up so I can kind of show you how we started. So here we go. If you look at this here, now this is the frame for the back piece, and then you can see that I created the metal plating. Now it's not detailed yet. I did not add the scuff marks and the metallic scratches and stuff like that, but I'm going to work on that. So but this will fit in here. But before it does that, I created a reinforced back pad, and that is to create the shape that I want for the back piece and add some support. So I already pre-glued it, as you can see, and I also got this piece. This is going to fit over that piece so that it kind of adds a layer of 3D dimension to the back piece of the armor, so that it kind of sticks out just a little more than the actual vest piece. So you can kind of see. That back piece now. Pretty well. Thanks. Alright, so moving on to the side piece, which is for Crossbones, is here, and it attaches to the vest. This is where you put the clips in, so that you can attach the front piece together. And if you notice the back, I do have this strap because there is a another clip in the back. Now, what I did for this is I just cut separate pieces. It's layered. If you look at the picture, it's layered where it has two different thicknesses of foam or armor, whatever you want to call it. And basically, I cut the straps. So you can see I have just these straps on here. I want to sandwich them between this so that the straps stay somewhat secure. I can always hot glue the edges a little bit to keep a little more security to lock it in. But when you put this together, notice I cut the shapes, right? And don't mind this one, I was going to use it for something else and I decided to use this. So, but I cut the shapes, and it's going to be bigger. One is going to be a little bigger because I'm going to bend it and have this one pull tighter than this one so that it keeps that curve. And then I will trim off the excess and Dremel it to make it smooth. And then I'll spray paint it, and then I'll add the strapping where you put normally the little ammo or the pouches or whatever you want to do. But basically you want to make sure that this is curved a little bit because I already put the glue on it. Okay? So you want to curve it a little bit and make sure that it's kind of where you want it. Now I'm going to kind of line it up here. Now I'm going to start on the back end just to see if I can kind of get it lined up. And again, the thinner piece will mold a little better to the shape that you want. But notice when I'm doing this, now I'm starting to curve it as I'm sticking it together. And voila, you have the piece already curved, right, to the kind of the curvature you kind of want, without having to be overly like heat it and overdo it over and over. And of course the clips are going to lock it in and kind of fix it a little more curved to your body like this. But notice I have excess, and I'm going to trim that off with a scissors or shears. And I kind of like the curve of that one, so I'm going to solidify it in. I'll kind of show you this here. So you just want to make sure that the cement sticks to it good. All parts of it. Just make sure that every piece of that works well. And voila, you have a piece of the rib piece armor. So that is kind of how you go about that. I'll do it to this side, and then I will show you how to add the strapping to it. Alright guys. Alright, so now I'm making the front shoulder piece along with I'm going to make the armor plate that goes over Crossbones' chest. But there's a lot of layers to it, and so it's going to take you a little while to create this look. But I'll kind of show you how I did it. So basically this is a piece of it put together. So what you want to do is, if you look at this, I have 3 pieces of basically, I forget what I measured here, but you can kind of get the size that you really want. But it's going to go over the actual vest shoulder strap. So this piece is going to be this chest shoulder strap, which fits like this. Okay? And I am going to put a cut through it so that it bends kind of, instead of just a round bend, I want kind of a square bend, because if you look at it, it looks like the padding portion here actually has a sharp corner cut, just a little bit like right here. So I'm probably going to do a light cut in there so that it fits over there a little better, and it almost becomes angular instead of round. But if you can see, then that's where it's going to hit my shoulder. Now, that's what this piece is here on the bottom. Okay, but the pieces over here are going to overlay it, and this is going to actually be covered by nylon, like from what I got my bags from Goodwill. So it's going to be covered with that. And then you have this piece here, okay, that goes wider, and then another overlay of that, okay, and this is going to be painted black, spray painted black. This is where his splash of his X, Crossbones X, goes over it. Now, this is the shoulder reinforcement armor, and there's going to be like a basically a thumbtack here, push pin. It's like a rivet that goes in there. So you're going to put that there, but it's almost double layered here. So that's kind of the idea, and how I did it is I drew out what I wanted for the angle. Oh, and notice I have it kind of offset here. This is actually going to get trimmed off. I just wanted the same dimensions of the width here, but this is actually going to get cut off because the armor plate rounds out about here. So if you see that, that's always going to be covered. This is your neck, and this is your shoulder and chest. So that's kind of how I did it. And basically I drew out how big I wanted the shapes, and then I measured it, and then I actually cut it out the way I wanted it. So if you look at that, and notice I angled this a little bit. I wanted an angle in this because I wanted it to kind of match the circle piece a little bit, the overlay there, and then it has the other piece. And I left this one intact because I wanted to show you how I did this. It's basically, I then cut out two pieces of this circle shoulder reinforcement, and then I drew the lines on the inside just a little bit less, and I'm going to cut this so it's just a little bit smaller to fit on there. And that's what I did there. So that's how you're going to do it. So you're going to cover it with the, glue it, cover it with the Cordura nylon, and then add the foam to it. And then you're going to spray paint that, glue it, spray paint that, add the detailing. And then I'm going to attach it to my back piece of armor. So I will show you that shortly as soon as I'm done with that. All right.